Welcome everyone to another Fantasy Goodfellas video where Richard and I talk about the top 24 quarterbacks for week 1. Richard, you ready?
Absolutely.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
Boom, boom, boom. Rolling on the field.
The Fantasy Goodfellas. Before we get started, let me explain what you should expect in this video. Richard's going to give each of his rankings, while I'll use our new stat machine to either support or contradict his rankings. Hopefully it gets heated. All right, Richard, line them up.
All right, number 1, Justin Herbert, who is going to be home against Las Vegas in what I think is going to be a shootout.
This week's shootout.
Number 2, we have Patrick Mahomes, who will be at Arizona. Again, a shootout.
This week's shootout.
Against a so-so, an average defense.
All right, how much do you think losing Tyreek Hill is going to affect Patrick Mahomes this season?
It will have an effect. We still don't even know who the number 2 receiver is going to be. Obviously, I'm counting Travis Kelce, the tight end, as the number 1 receiver. And number 3, we have Josh Allen, who will be at the LA Rams. It's a tough defensive matchup, but it's Josh Allen. I cannot rank him much lower than 3. And number 4, Kyler Murray, who will be home against KC's weak defense. Number 5, we have Russell Wilson, who will be at Seattle. And you know he's going to be motivated. So I think this is going to be a big game for Russell.
Russell Wilson, did he have a better receiving core in Seattle, or does he have a better receiving core in Denver?
I believe that DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are better receivers than what he has now. But Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy are good too. But what he has in Denver now that he didn't have in Seattle, he had okay running game. In Denver, he's got Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, 2 guys that can catch out of the backfield and are explosive. And number 6, Tom Brady, who will be at Dallas. What can you say about Tom Brady other than he led the league in passing touchdowns and passing yards last year? I don't expect that to happen again, but he's going to put up numbers.
Does he have weapons? Are they injured? What do you think is going on there?
He has weapons, and it's Tom Brady. Tom Brady can make anything work pretty much. But he's got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin's going to come back from injury, and the newly signed Julio Jones. And number 7, we have Lamar Jackson, who has a great matchup at the New York Jets.
Hold on. Fantasy Pros has Lamar Jackson ranked first. Why do you got him ranked so low?
Well, they got him ranked first because of his matchup. But again, to me, Lamar Jackson's always full of question marks. Must run to succeed. Again, it's all based on matchup, but he's definitely not going to air it out like all the other quarterbacks I have listed ahead of him. And number 8, Jalen Hurts, who will be at Detroit.
Jalen Hurts' TD to interception ratio isn't that good. Do you think he's going to better from last year?
No, that is what he is. He's not a good passer. Again, my take is that he's overrated. He's being overrated this year. Yes, does he have wheels? Of course. And he's gonna get yards that way. But what's gonna happen to quarterbacks that run? They're gonna get hurt. If they have to run to succeed, they're gonna get hurt.
Hold on, Philadelphia added AJ Brown. How much is that gonna help Jalen Hurts?
Again, he's not a passer, so it helps. Look, obviously it's better to have AJ Brown on your team than not. Jalen Hurts is a run-first quarterback and not a great passer. So A.J. Brown, definitely don't draft him. He's not going to put up big numbers this year. And Jalen Hurts, yeah, there's going to be some improvement, but not much. And number 9, we have Joe Burrow, who will be home against Pittsburgh. It's a tough defense, but Joe Burrow, after taking those Bengals to the Super Bowl and that end of the year run he had, I think that momentum will continue.
According to Fantasy Pros, Joe Burrow was the 8th ranked quarterback last year. What do you think he needs to do to move up?
Well, again, I mean, it depends on your scoring system, but there's little room for improvement. He was very good last year. All he has to do is keep the momentum going. The momentum he had with guys like T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, mixing out of the backfield, just keep it going. If he does what he did toward the end of last season, for a full season, Joe Burrow will be near the top. Number 10, we have Dak Prescott, who'll be home against Tampa Bay. Again, Tampa Bay, tough team, but Dak Prescott is going to air it out. That's what they do in Dallas. He's going to air it out, and Zeke will get his carries, but it's going to be the Prescott show. And number 11, Aaron Rodgers, who will be at Minnesota. Minnesota is a middling defense. We'll see what Aaron Rodgers can do with a questionable cast of receivers. And number 12, we have Kirk Cousins, who will be playing home against Green Bay.
Do you think Kirk Cousins' receiving core can improve upon last year? And they played pretty well.
Yeah, they had a good season. I think that's Justin Jefferson's going to be amazing, right? You can expect him to put up similar numbers. I wouldn't say better, but similar numbers, which are still great, which still puts him at the top of the heap as far as receivers go. But to expect more from Kirk Cousins, that's a stretch. I think the offense is going to be same as last year, and that in itself is good. And number 13, we have Derek Carr, who will be at the LA Chargers, again, in what I think is going to be a shootout.
This week's shootout. Derek Carr had a good season last year, and now they added Davante Adams. So what do you expect? Even better from Derek Carr?
Yes, I expect Derek Carr to have a better season. I mean, he threw for a lot of yards. His issue was in the passing touchdown category. I think he's going to improve there. I mean, he'll be like one of those guys that borderline top 12 fantasy-wise quarterbacks, but definitely can help somebody. And number 14, we have Matthew Stafford, who will be home against Buffalo.
Should we be concerned about Stafford's elbow going into the season?
A little bit of a concern. It seems like Sean McVay, Matt Stafford himself, they keep saying it's not a big deal. They're not worried about it. Everything is status quo, but it's there. We really won't know until the season starts, and that's why I ranked him a little lower. At number 15, we have Tua Tagovailoa, who will be home against the New England Patriots.
I'm surprised you're not high on this guy, especially by bringing in Tyreek Hill.
15's not bad. He's but here's the thing with Tua, right? What has he shown us so far in a couple seasons? Not much. He's okay. And number 16, Trey Lance at Chicago.
Should Trey Lance be worried Jimmy Garoppolo is still on the team and there's a possibility that can put pressure on him?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely he needs to be worried. I mean, with a poor start, it's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo's team again. So, but what can Trey Lance do? He can just play well, but there's definitely pressure there. And sometimes it motivates a player to have someone there nipping at your heels. And number 17, Trevor Lawrence, who will be at Washington.
Last year, Trevor Lawrence had more interceptions than TDs. I bet that has to change this year.
Yeah, but we don't know if it will. Again, he gets the benefit of the doubt because of his collegiate career, but he looked really bad last year. And number 18, Jameis Winston at Atlanta. Winston's going up against a weak Atlanta defense. Again, we'll see how he gels with Jarvis Landry, with the rookie Olave. Is Michael Thomas back? These are the questions that need to be answered. So there's a lot of questions. And again, Winston's coming off an injury as well. And number 19, Matt Ryan at Houston.
Matt Ryan's going from Atlanta to the Colts, who has a very good rushing game. That's going to hurt his stats, right?
You're right. They might not have to rely on passing. But sometimes having a back like Jonathan Taylor really helps the quarterback, especially with little dump-off passes. If he can take them to the house, it's definitely going to improve the numbers. And Matt Ryan could certainly use more passing TDs. And number 20, we have Justin Fields, who will be home against San Francisco.
So Justin Fields isn't a very good quarterback, and he's going against a top defense. What do you expect?
He didn't look that good last year. We'll see if he takes a step forward. He can run. We'll see. But is there that glimmer of hope for improvement? Absolutely. And, it could be very big from Justin Fields. At number 21, we have Ryan Tannehill, who will be home against the New York Giants.
Tannehill's not a good quarterback. Now he has a lot of good receivers move on. What do you expect?
Again, middling quarterback, lost A.J. Brown. We don't know if Derrick Henry, how healthy he is, if he can carry the load again. There are a lot of question marks. I definitely expect Tannehill to, plummet. At 22, Carson Wentz will be home against Jacksonville.
Carson Wentz didn't do too bad last year. Do you think he has a better receiving core in Washington?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he had a star-studded receiving core in Indianapolis, other than maybe, Michael Pittman. Now he has Terry McLaurin, who's a stud. He's got Curtis Samuel. He's got Dotson, the rookie. So, I think his receivers are better here, but Carson Wentz isn't very good. He's all right. At number 23, we have Daniel Jones at Tennessee.
Do you think Daniel Jones is on the hot seat this season?
Absolutely. This is it. This is his last season. I mean, they didn't renew him for that 5th season. So he's got to show something this year. And based on the last 3 years, he probably won't. At 24, we have Jared Goff, who is home against Philadelphia.
Can Jared Goff improve upon last year? And does he have any weapons?
Jared Goff is a bad quarterback, but yes, he has weapons. You have DeAndre Swift out of the backfield. You have tight end TJ Hawkinson. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown, the receiver. He has weapons. And for that reason, Jared Goff is in our top 24. And is there potential for improvement? Sure. But he's not a great quarterback.
Thanks for sharing your top 24 QB rankings. We always appreciate if you put some questions in the comments. We'll be happy to answer it. And if you'd like to see some matchups, put it in the comments, and we'll try to do another video before the season starts. Richard, thanks for sharing your top 24 QB rankings.
No problem. My pleasure.
Those fantasy good fellas. Boom, boom, boom.
Rolling on the field.
Those fantasy good fellas.